What I'm going to do, or the mechanics of my presentation, is basically based on a LS, or a literature survey. And I have in mind a model which I'm hoping to expand using an empirical research on SMEs quantitatively and on large companies as cases. One of them would be our own. Okay, introduction. To many, the phrase family business connotes a small or mid-sized company, but then you have very large family businesses all over the world. The main thing is in family businesses, shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations. If a family business survives 3 generations, it has a good potential to survive as such. The rest of it is part of literature search, which is information asymmetry, family disharmony, nepotism, role ambiguity and dispersion of ownership among family members, and low competence in management are major criticisms which are leveled against family businesses. A family business is one which is managed or controlled by a single family across multiple generations, and this is one of the classical definitions of family businesses. There are several in India, like the Tata Group, Murugappa Group, Dabur Group, Wadias, and our own. Okay. Family businesses outperform non-family businesses in motivation, practices, and results. This is actually a revelation from a McKinsey study. There are various theories which underlie family businesses, like Aveline paradox, agency theory, game theory, network theory, RBV, social capital theory, SEW, which is taking a lot of prominence now in research, stakeholder theory, stewardship theory, transaction cost, etc. Studies are fairly at an early stage. Family business research is just about 25 plus years old. There are 2 organizations, one called IFERA, International Family Enterprise Research Academy, which is essentially a forum for people like me, researchers in family business. The other one is FFI, which is Family Firm Incorporated, which also supports people who do research in family business, teach family business courses in universities in the US and overseas, and people who write in high-impact family business journals like Family Business Review, which is a SAGE publication, or a Journal of Family Business, which is a Elsevier publication, and also people who practice family business consulting, whether they are boutique consultants or belong to large companies. As I mentioned, there are few studies in FBR, which is Family Business Research. The key research question is what factors enable transgenerational success and competitive advantage of family firms. This paper, as I mentioned, is a work in progress, and I hope to identify factors enabling sustainability of family firms and also to trace these factors in my own amalgamation group of companies headquartered in Tamil Nadu or in Chennai. Long-run family firms are good at establishing, family ownership and governance rules, etc. So governance is my first, factor. I think I've overskipped the model. No, okay. I have a model which says grow, and it will show up. The G stands for governance. Nothing can substitute good governance, corporate governance, as I mean. The second is renewal. As family firms move from founding generation, the creative momentum and excitement are likely to be replaced from risk-averse mindset with preoccupations related to safeguarding what's been achieved, rather than continuing to explore new business opportunities and risk-taking. This is a very, very typical syndrome that you find in family businesses, including ours. So renewal is operationalized by entrepreneurial mindset, innovation, creative destruction. Measured risk-taking and timely decisions add to the unique capabilities of family firm performance and sustainability, both of which were very are very crucial for family business continuity. Ownership. Essentially, ownership implies the distribution of power and control in a firm. I had a maternal uncle of mine who's no more, and he had in his desk, buck stops here. I mean, ownership operationalized by management, etc. I'll just leave the slides to you. Last one is wealth. Wealth of family firms characterized by commitment of both family and non-family members, its social capital, its reputation, everything categorized, counts for wealth in a family business. The proposed model, as I said, is just grow, and that, in my mind, ensures family firm sustainability. Final thoughts. Business success and continuity are the two most important, most powerful mantras for every family-owned business. Incorporating previous descriptive and conceptual work done on the unique capability of family firms, grow model. These factors are likely to give family firms a measure of ambidexterity, effective at leveraging and exploiting inherent capability as well as achieving adaptation, renewal and exploration. This study truly attempts to extend family business sustainability research by empirically validating this conceptual model by undertaking a quantitative field survey, as I mentioned, among owner-managers and non-family executives in Tamil Nadu in the area of SMEs, and a qualitative study of a few large family-owned businesses in southern India, including our own group. Thank you.
Any questions? There are questions. Yes. Excellent presentation. My question is, are these family business private or public?
You mean ours?
No, when you say family business.
Oh, it belongs.
Or can you differentiate between a private and a public with their shares on the stock market?
In fact, I'd like to throw one more angle to it. Family businesses can be public or private. You have large, when I say public, you have Tatas, for example, or even one of our own companies manufacturing a technical component which goes into automotive application. It is listed. It's a listed company in the stock exchange in Mumbai. So it's a public company, and it has several shareholders. But essentially, the family controls the board by managing the board, and thus it becomes a family business as such. If you take the largest business house in India, the Ambanis manage the business. And if you take Tata's, the same way. But when you say private, they are non-listed companies. And several of our companies are non-listed. In fact, our model is a pyramidal concept. We've got a holding company called Amalgamations Private Limited, which my granddad held 100% in 64 when he died. 4 branches of his family, 2 sons, 2 daughters. So 4 families are holding 25% each, of which, my mother's family is 1, and I hold 12.5% now. That's purely private. The thing is, in a public company, you can have access to data because they are published, and in a private company, you cannot have access to data. The third one is what in India is called a joint sector, meaning you have a government participation, but it can be promoted as a joint venture financially between a family-owned group or an entrepreneur and government, and can still be listed in the stock exchange because they would hold 51% between them, and 49% can get diluted in the stock exchange, or at least 24% has to be in the stock exchange, I think. So, say, between the government and the private guy or the entrepreneur can hold 51. If they get into a JV, let's say with a Japanese company to manufacture a particular product, they can hold 15% or 20% based on the negotiation. The balance can be floated in the public.
Thank you. One last question.
Oh, sorry.
I have a question for you. Can you just clarify, you said you don't have access to data. Are you talking about if you're public, you have to put your information out there?
Yes.
But when you're private, does the other shareholders have access to to your data information you have?
Okay. Number one answer, if you're public, because you're listed equivalent to SEC, we have SEBI, and therefore you can have as much data, and disclosure norms are dictated by the Companies Act. In the case of private, other shareholders, meaning the shareholders of that private company, can have access to the data published at the time of AGM. So let's take a company with 4 people where 2 of them are running the company. They would have more current data, whereas the 2 other people who get together along with the 2 at the annual general meeting will get the data on September 30th or before, which might be 6 months old.
But I have the access of getting data from the company at any time as a private shareholder.
Again, let me, you have access to audited annual reports. But if you want to know exactly inside what's happening in the company, it'll be pretty difficult.
Time is of the essence, because in my corporation, it's a private corporation, but any of the shareholders within that corporation can walk into that office at any time, and you can look at any data that's there, because they're shareholders, and they can have that information.
It normally is not, it's normally not possible. If, let's say, there are 4 shareholders, 2 are actually running the company and 2 comprise the board, the other 2 cannot just walk into the company and ask the company secretary, I want this information or that information.
You know, I end time, so we can have a discussion.
Please, 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 you're most welcome.
Okay, all right, one last question.
That gentleman also had.
Yeah.
This is a work in progress. I see a little disconnect. You have family business, you have some projects just listed, some non-listed, some joint venture, some, how do you intend to measure the sustainability, or what's your process for sustainability that will cut across listed,
Okay.
non-listed, family? So just have it in mind.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a quantitative study where I'll draw up a questionnaire, test it for reliability and validity, and have a sample of SMEs, meaning small and medium enterprises, which may not be listed, will be private within the geographical territory of my state. The other one will be large companies, where I would do a qualitative case study kind of thing, using qualitative measures, of which one of my companies, one of our groups, would be taken. I would be using the same questionnaire, but on a interview basis.
Okay, but just look out for what is, you have financial sustainability. You have different processes for sustainability. What would you want to serve? If we were quoted companies, were profit-related companies, you would say ROE, these are processes of...
Yeah, the parameters would be the same. I would identify the factors, get the factors, do a factor analysis, load the factors, and get it into SEM mode. That is sequential equation modeling.
Okay,
Last question.
we
One last question from that gentleman. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, my question is, India is fast growing, and there's a lot of influx of capital to India right now. Would you share some of your observations, the changing dynamics in SMEs?
SMEs have changed from 20 years ago when they were, I don't know what crore is, 50 million rupees, to now a turnover even of 40 times that can still be an SME. So people come in, when I say people, investors, either in the form of technological investment or financial investment or both, when they find a business proposition and reduce it to a joint venture agreement or a shareholders agreement, and try, you see, the thing in India is, I don't want to decry China, but you have a legal system. If you have an IPR, like an intellectual property right, that can be protected. So a whole lot of things are safer in India than people when they go into China. That's all I can say. I mean, again, if there are people from China, I don't mean badly against them, but